Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed, the Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon exclusively sponsored Hall of Fame. Recency Bias Radio. With me, of course, is your humble host, Dave Smith, where no one is safe from criticism, but they also know me as Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Ball, Pearl Game, Ultra, Smid Dog Trio, The Rant God, Hotep Thanos, Throne Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the Pro Black Prodigy, all of the above on that ISET test and ACT. You know what it is. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the 17th Challenge 36 Double Agents Rant entitled Swinged and You Missed. And there's a lot of reasons why I named it this way, but it's pretty self-explanatory. A week ago, we saw Theresa and Jay. Well, really, it was more of Theresa than Jay, but they went out of their way to essentially try to blindside Cam. Now, if you saw my video that was called The Kill a Couple, which was done, I believe, the Saturday after that, or maybe it was the Friday after that, I can't remember. But if you remember in that video, I pointed out a few things. I pointed out how I personally believe Big T was working with Theresa and the rest of Big Titty Committee, or Itty Bitty Titty Committee. They were all working together to try to take out Cam, keep Ashley, make sure Ashley got a gold skull, that way they could push forward. In my opinion, that was what they wanted, because if you look at Big T's alliance, who are those three women expected to take out? They couldn't have expected to take out Cam themselves. They needed someone to do that. So as much as the other side believes, or as much as Jay would like Leroy to believe that he went with Theresa's plan simply because he believed Cam was the only woman who could take out Ashley, I call bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. 100%. Because a season ago, Ashley and Jay were both trying to take out production pet vets. They both were. So I just don't believe or buy it that Jay would be working against Ashley when in all reality, Ashley was on the bottom at the same time Jay was on the bottom of the same game. So why would two people on the bottom, why would they choose to not work with each other when the only way for both of them to thrive is working together? See, if you use all of your context clues, and if you use all the logic that is given to you in this situation, you all will clearly see that Big T has been pretty much flipping back and forth week to week ever since she's gotten power, right? I'd argue Big T only voted against Theresa and Jay this week because Theresa aired out CT at the meeting. I think Big T had no choice. Also, Big T is trying to keep the charade going with Cam, that she's pro-Black lives, that she's woke, that she's on Cam's side simply because they're both happen to be black, when in reality, both of their life experiences are polar opposite. It's about the same as Cory probably has more in common with Cam's experience in life than Big T does. I know that sounds crazy, but it's probably the truth. Cory is more in tune with hip-hop, black culture in general than Big T probably is. And that's because of the lifestyle they live. That didn't stop Cam from wanting Cory out the damn game. So I'm saying this, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm trying to get you all to see that right now, Cam, Anissa, they are playing this game of acting like, oh, well, we're super woke and we're super in tune with the strategy because we're working together. But in reality, y'all are working together out of necessity because the Big Brother Alliance just happened to stumble into a perfect scenario where the pro-Black Alliance and the Big Brother Alliance could work together. The minute those two alliances have to choose a side in terms of certain people that are in both alliances that have allegiances to both that eventually have to pick a side, Josh and KC, for example, are two people who can get away with being cool with black players, but they don't really have to prove their allegiance to them over Big Brother yet. And that's why Devin and CT and Kyle's game is so integral to the rest of the season, because a long time ago, Devin spoke to CT and he said that he wanted to get Darrell out. Notice the beginning of this episode kicks off with CT speaking to Theresa about wanting Darrell out. So this was CT planting seeds in Theresa's head in case she happened to win back-to-back. He wanted her to go for Darrell. Somehow news of this gets back to Darrell, but Darrell blames it on his partner in Amber, which didn't make any sense, by the way. I was wondering, why did he blame it on Amber? Did he blame it on her because he thought she could take the criticism of it? Or did he blame it on her because he legit didn't know where the source of it came from? Because later in the episode, Amber even apologized to Theresa by saying she didn't know where the origin of it came from. This is how Theresa knew it had to have come from CT. The problem is, when you choose to start a beef or a war with CT, when he already has the majority of men with gold skulls on his side already, when he pretty much has the game wrapped around his finger already, it's really tough for you to call a guy like that out in a meeting. Now, here's the funniest part. This game all started off with everyone in the meeting calling out CT. Somehow, some way, 6 episodes later, everyone at the meeting is now on CT's side and won't believe anything anyone says that's negative about him. Isn't that crazy how the entire game did a 180-degree turn? How is that even possible when CT doesn't even have a gold skull yet to dictate that type of gameplay? Don't give me that, oh, well, him and Big T, they were double agents once and that somehow led to all of this power all at once. No, it's because slowly but surely production has been ensuring that CT would have this type of pull later. Understand, every rookie that stood up to CT, they're all in the damn shadow realm now. Leo Rush, that man quit to go home to a white woman. Joseph, this dude basically volunteered to basically get sent home, and a black woman turned on him at a drop of a dime, and the rest of her itty bitty titty committee alliance picked up all of the pieces after Joseph left. But what doesn't make sense to me is, and by the way, shout outs to whatever patron that put me on game with this music video initially, but this all comes back full circle. I think this alliance, well, I think the music video Jay did with Leo Rush and Joseph, I think it's an indicator of how bad Jay's gameplay was that season. For him to do a music video like that 1 week before Jay gets eliminated, in my opinion, it was Joseph, Leo, and Jay trying to take advantage of the 2 minutes of fame they had left from this season. So they said, hey man, drop the music video now. Leo just quit. I'm finna get eliminated next week. This is our time when our name is relevant. So that's why they did it. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is this tells me a lot about why Jay decided to stay loyal to Theresa after she decided to make the move she made. Because in Jay's mind, let me take you back. Week 1 is the week Leroy and Cam took complete credit for, correct? That was the week where they claimed they were after Wes and they were after CT, but that led to Ashley going home, correct? Isn't it a bit ironic that Ashley comes back and then she is the one they are using to try to take out Cam, and her and Leroy were behind her departure in week 1? See, when I really break this down in unmatched prowess, you start to realize that this clearly was a plot to get rid of Cam here. It clearly was. There are too many things that go together that show me that Jay clearly was linked at the hip with Joseph and Leo. Leo's partner was Gabby, who's now with Devin. Gabby is now following whatever Big T says with Amber, and he's also close with Michi. That tells me Michi, in some way, shape, or form, was cool with Jay too. So understand, the move Jay and Theresa did a week ago, 100% was in response, in my opinion, to Leo leaving so suddenly. That's my opinion. I think Jay realized I'm on the bottom anyway. Whether I piss off y'all or not, I'm fucked. The least I can do is try to do a move to put me and my partner in a position where we could possibly make the final. So I commend him for not falling on his sword and just dying necessarily. But see, this brings me to why Josh is so butthurt though. This man looks like a damn fool. You want to be a peacekeeper all of a sudden when it comes to Faysal having a problem with Devin. But in my opinion, he's only a peacekeeper because he's salty. Faysal is stealing his man. Think about it. This whole season, Devin has been the one that Josh has been arguing with. This whole season, Josh has tried to also argue with who? Jay. So if you read the room here, he can't really afford to pick that many battles now with Devin because Devin now has a gold skull. Devin has proven himself to be less of a layup than Josh. So that's what made Josh pivot to start picking on Jay. But the minute Jay made the move he made with Theresa to piss off Leroy, understand, from a game politics standpoint, Josh could never take jurisdiction on Jay the minute Leroy called dibs because of what happened to Cam. So Josh's frustration of him throwing the drink on Kyle and Devin at the club
That was all to cover up the fact that he's really pissed off about the fact that Leroy stole his gold skull. In his mind, that's how he's thinking. That's what I'm telling y'all. Josh just doesn't know how to elocute these thoughts because he's highly emotional. But based off of reading what's going on, based off of the fights he's picked previously, we can all connect the dots here and say Josh is really just mad because he's running out of people that he views as people he can beat. So he is starting to read the room and go, this is another season I will not make a final. No. So in his mind, he's willing to get sent home by starting a fight now. I'm going to push Devin on a futon, a couch. And did you notice what Devin said in response? Hey, Josh, we need to have some type of a sit-down meeting with you. There are some things that you need to accept in your life or something like that. It sounded a lot like Devin was implying Josh was in the closet. In my opinion, that's what it sounded like Devin was implying 100%, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my thought process on it. So, and when you look at the symbolism of Josh not picking a fight with Devin or getting physical with him until there was a bed or a futon behind Devin for Devin's back to hit, it does make Josh look real funny style. Like you only want to put your hands on a man when there's a bed nearby. It just made him look crazy, coach. And that's why we gotta fry Josh crazy ass, okay? He think we gonna buy the bullshit of, oh, I'm mad because Faysal is fighting with Devin. First off, Faysal turned on you in the game already to work with Devin. So what the hell are you being a peacekeeper in between both of them for? They both have shown they don't give a fuck about you, Faysal. But once again, he cares so much about the TV time, I'm gonna steal this shit. Now all of a sudden he I'm gonna throw water. You know, Bad Girls Club. He thinks this shit is lit, man. The shit is a joke to me though, man. You seen what happened to him last time he tried to throw some shit. Didn't he try to throw a drink at Swaggy? Yeah, that didn't go too well. You know, he made sure, it wasn't water when it came to Swaggy, I believe, and that's why he had to create some distance. Now, in this situation, Kyle wanted to smoke as well, but Kyle has a gold skull. He has no reason to start a fight with you, Josh. And besides, wasn't Kyle and Josh one of the last two people a season ago to get their gold skull last year? And didn't Kyle like whoop Josh's ass in that one comp where you had to go put all of them knots into that car and you had to take like a rope and, you know, he whooped Josh's ass in that. So in his mind, he's looking at Josh as, you fool. You didn't learn from the problem me and you had last season. I learned from it already. I already got my skull. So he's almost looking at you, Josh, as someone who has not evolved yet. You still a pre-evolution Pokemon, coach. You got to get to level 16, my guy. You know what I'm saying? You still using scratch and growl and tail whip. You know what I'm saying? We trying to see some hot shit. You know what I mean? That's not going to get people clapping. You know what I mean? But yeah, so understand, ladies and gentlemen, Josh is looking at all of the men left that don't have skulls, right? You got Cory, Nam, Michi, and Darrell in CT. Okay? So there's 5 men left with no gold skulls. Out of that group, Josh probably wants Michi. Let's just keep it real in these streets. He probably wants Michi. How is he going to start a beef with Michi, though? I think that's what's currently ticking in his head. Now that Jay is gone, in his head, how am I going to pick a fight with Michi next episode? So do not be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if you stumble across a Josh and Michi fight at some point later on this season, because, look, he's a buffoon and he's also a coward, but he's also calculated, and he has to know that no one else that doesn't have a skull, he has a good chance of beating besides maybe Michi, and I think Michi will still wash him. That's the funny part. I would love to see Michi in a final. It would be very interesting. But yeah, so we have that situation that went down as well, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Leroy shitted on Jay's entire life, man. Not only did he say he was soft, not only did he say that he would send him home, but he even reminded him of the ass whooping Rogan gave him a season ago. Not only that, he said he was knocked the fuck out last season. I remember Jay being laid out, but damn, he made it seem like Rogan incapacitated the kid. He made it seem like he put him to sleep or something. You know what I'm saying? The way Leroy is talking, yeah, he didn't like what he tried to do to Cam, man. You know, and I also got to give Leroy credit as well, because I don't know if you all noticed it this episode. Leroy is the only person on the other side of the game who has realized who Nam truly is. Everybody else just keeps thinking Nam is just this dude who's selectively stupid, but he always votes with one specific side, even though he claims to have some budding showmans with Lolo. At the end of the day, I thought it was hilarious that Lolo, of all people, is warning Nam, you could be thrown in right now. You know that, right? You could be thrown in. And I'm thinking in my head, KC snitched on Leroy, ran the Lolo, because understand Lolo and Amber B is in the Big Brother Alliance. Understand Leroy and KC only won this comp because Amber B stood tall, stood up to Theresa, and didn't throw the comp. So understand, the Big Brother ties is the only reason why Leroy got his revenge here. And this goes back to the whole something gotta give. This Black Alliance and this Big Brother Alliance so far has been very formidable together. But at a certain point, CT is gonna get his way if they don't go for CT and his people, right? It's like they keep taking out all of these little weaklings on the side and letting CT just ride. And it's like, what are y'all doing? He has 2 allies with gold skulls. He was working with Theresa to target Darrell. Next episode, I need to see someone black admit that CT needs to go down there versus Cory. Because if CT somehow ends up as the one to face Michi, I'm going to be pissed the fuck off. I'm saying that right now. If CT gets the Michi elimination, I'm going to be mad. Because it seems like it's very possible that that could happen. It's very possible right now. But yeah, I wanted to give Leroy credit, though, because at the end of the day, he was one of the few people who said he might throw in Nam. And the fact that Lolo warned Nam, that tells me KC is playing a fantastic game. Out of all the Big Brother players, I think she's by far playing the best game, in my opinion. Now, I said this rants ago, but I think you're starting to see more of the things that she is doing real subtly. While Josh and while Faysal are getting into these nonsensical arguments and fights surrounded around being drunk in their manhood and all that hot shit, KC behind the scenes is keeping Nani close. She's keeping Anissa close. She's keeping Lolo close. Amber B close. She was close to Jay, who was close to Theresa, and she was okay with Leroy getting out her guy Jay, and it didn't hurt KC's game at all, even though she was one of the votes who tried to help Jay get out who tried to help Jay get out Cam a week ago. I brought this up in the last rant. So all in all, this is a testament to how well KC's playing, because KC isn't on Cam's radar at all, but KC, she played her part in trying to blindside Cam herself. That's just my thoughts on it, okay? Like, and I'll reiterate this. I hope to see Leroy and Cam speak more towards KC's gameplay in their next video on YouTube, because they keep ignoring KC, but KC's game is directly connected to the two of them. And as long as Leroy picks her as his partner again, and she picked him back as well, then KC's game is playing an integral part in both of their games, and I think she should be discussed more often on their channel, because if KC isn't playing as well, maybe Leroy's game politically doesn't go so well either in terms of going after Jay. I mean, everyone basically just bent the knee and said, yeah, you deserve it, you know? Usually people aren't that lenient in the game. So the fact that everyone was willing to go with his demonstration, it once again shows that Leroy's doing a fantastic job politically and strategically this season. I think him getting out west bought him a lot of, it bought him a lot of real estate. But once again, it's like, this guy took out west. Seems like Devin and Kyle, well, I guess Kyle's partner is Cam, so he can't go for Leroy. But in Devin's case, I'm wondering when Devin and CT are going to start looking at Leroy as maybe possibly threatening, you know, or vice versa. Because I feel like all of these people should not view each other as allies. They shouldn't, you know, especially when CT doesn't have his gold skull. Leroy does. Kyle and Devin do. Faysal does. Faysal and Leroy clearly don't like each other. We've seen more than enough to imply that, you know. I think the season's going to be very interesting down the stretch based off how things are looking. But yeah, so I already mentioned the music video and stuff like that. CT sees the potential in using Theresa to his advantage, but even he thinks she's a little bit too sneaky. And that's the funniest thing about it, man. It's like, at the end of the day, production clearly played a role in Theresa and Jay being outed as quickly as they were outed, you know? And if you go into this episode with the context of knowing that Big T was clearly a production pet in training, then everything kind of slides into place correctly, and it explains why those two had to be the sacrificial lambs for the last two episodes. But this all goes back to the fact that maybe if Jay and Theresa, maybe if they win the comp they were supposed to win over Big T, maybe they don't do the move to hurt the game enough. But then again, maybe Cory is still in the game as well. So we don't know what would happen from that. But very interesting episode. Faysal then pulls Cory to the side and uses some sob story about growing up as a subconscious introvert as his reason for turning on Nelson. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Faysal, what the hell was this shit, bro? Once again, the guy trying to be a villain is half-stepping. He's trying to make it seem like, I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? See, I ain't got no problem with this if he didn't do Nelson the way he did him, right? If you're going to imply that you grew up as some introverted kid who had no friends, you're implying to a degree that you were bullied. Then you should be anti-bullying. What he did to Nelson, in my opinion, was de facto bullying. At the end of the day, he saw a weakness, he saw a handicap, he chose that specific moment to exploit said handicap, and now you're going to crawl back to Cory when Tori's gone, your game is completely shot, he's a rogue agent right now, so Cory, at the end of the day, there is a possibility that he could have a wonderful partner. Now, he ended up getting Theresa at the end of the episode. We'll see if that's any good for him. Based off of the edit, I think the Cory curse is going to continue. I mean, tonight, Cory even mentioned the curse's existence, so that lets me know he's at least self-aware to a degree. But yeah, Faysal, all of this didn't make any sense. This seemed like a production staged event. It seemed like something they wanted him to do with Cory. I don't know. The fact that Cory bought this bullshit from the guy's mouth, it was disgusting to me. Cory, you looked a little soft, my guy. I mean, now to be fair, I thought he would forgive the motherfucker because I've been telling y'all something ain't right, and I think Tori's coming back. I can't put my finger on this shit, coach. I think Tori's coming back. We still have not seen that scene with Tori, Faysal, and Cory talking about they're going to turn us on each other. I still haven't seen that scene, coach. Right? So that still makes me believe Tori's coming back, meaning Faysal and Cory had to get cool with each other again before she came back. So I'm open to the fact that, yeah, he probably is going to forgive this guy. But I'm not cool with that because, yeah, I get it. Nelson turned on you too at a certain point, Cory. You had to forgive him too, and he turned out to be an A1 guy. He turned out to be a very loyal guy after you forgave him after that first time. So I can get in Cory's mind where he's thinking, I don't want to ruin the Young Bucks just because of this simple ass shit. Ooh. I get it. But at the same time, Cory, I can't help but notice Faysal ain't Tony, so you ain't taking it as hard as you could have been taking. Understand, this man almost sent Tony to the CTE Shadow Realm over some Alfredo. I'm keeping it funky. Now, granted, he was drunk in that situation. He wasn't drunk in this situation. I get that. But still, though, over some damn pasta you could get at Olive Garden for $8.99 with endless bread, with endless dinner rolls. You feel dig me, coach? This motherfucker tried to whoop Tony's ass, right? So I'm looking at this from the perspective, okay, you've shown yourself to be it's about the principle kind of guy. And if you're talking about things from a principle standpoint, coach, the principalities, in my opinion, dictate that you charge this motherfucker Faysal to the game because Fessy is way too messy. You really dig me? Fessy is way too messy. And see, another problem I got with Faysal, you pull Cory to the side, but you talk to him in front of damn near everyone anyway, to the point where Devin and Kyle, they got confessionals saying, don't trust him, Cory. Don't do it. It's almost like they're trying to convince Cory to become an Apex Productions pet by turning on Faysal, like they already convinced Faysal to do to Cory to become an Apex Production pet already. It's like they're dangling the same thing to both of them. This is like the movie Saw or some shit. Cut off your ankle. Cut off your foot. Maybe then you could crawl your way to victory. Whole time both of them ain't got no damn foot and they both at the end. Then they say, slit the other one's throat. Then one of you can. And then they both end up dead. It feel like that's what's going on. Some Saw type action is happening on the challenge. I gotta keep it all the way funky in these streets, man. But yeah, I'm not buying this from Faysal at all. And Cory shouldn't be buying this story. Come on, man. Okay, so you mean to tell me you grew up as an introverted kid, an introverted Islamic kid, okay? You grew up that way and you decided when you grew up you just wanted a white woman that bad. I mean, come on, man. Listen, man. The shit you are willing to do for Princess Peach, sorry, man. Listen, you can't be Super Facial on Monday, Waluigi on Tuesday, and then act like you as pure as Yoshi on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude he's sending so many mixed signals, man. And see, that's when you start seeing Kyle and Devin mention, like, these Big Brother players, they really know how to lie. And I'm thinking, y'all must not know about Faysal as a Big Brother player. This motherfucker don't know what he's doing. He is legitimately trying his best to do what he can here. Like, even if he's trying to manipulate Cory with this information, he's never played this way to know how to get it off, right? So, as a Big Brother fan, watching Faysal attempt to do this with Cory, it looks so cringy because you know Faysal ain't making no sense. You know he doesn't know how to do this in a way to make it make sense. And you also know you almost have to commend him for the attempt because he don't do this very often. And I think all of this plays a role in why Cory wanted to give him some rope. But man, oh man, oh man, this was just a terrible look to me, man. This is a terrible look. Cory, you are a damn fool if you actually believe this man. Or if you trust him again. But something tells me you will. But yeah, so essentially Kyle and Devin, they chimed in, woo out the bam. But it turned, Faysal doing this is what focuses Devin on Josh, Casey, and Faysal the most. Team Big Brother, essentially. Meaning Faysal doing this hurt Casey and Josh's game even more because the idea he isn't close to Cory made CT's alliance more likely to target Darrell over his alliance. That's very important for me to mention because Darrell technically is part of the Black Alliance, not necessarily Big Brother, even though his partner is Big Brother. Even though those two alliances are working together out of necessity, what I want you all to pay close attention to is how Devin and CT are very subtly pivoting based off of what it appears is happening. If Faysal isn't close to Cory, they like the idea of going after Darrell instead. Because in their opinion, this is the time to pounce. But if Cory and Faysal are close again, if the Young Bucks are back together, that's a little bit too threatening to allow Faysal to have all of these extra numbers on the side with Big Brother while he's still acting as if he's trying to be a production's pet and work with CT's side. It's allowing Faysal to have the same power he had the first 2 weeks of the game all over again. They can't allow that, and I think that's why they went from wanting Darrell out to immediately going Big Brother is the problem in the immediate all over again. They've always thought Big Brother was the big problem, but they also thought that the people who wronged them directly had to go first. And because Theresa made it her personal goal to wrong CT directly, even though technically speaking CT wronged her first, in CT's mind, it came out of left field, it was during a meeting, she could have ruined this game immensely if he would have allowed her to get the rest of that shit off. Therefore, he had to make sure that Theresa and her partner was sit down there. Now, this wasn't a women's elimination week, so Theresa is still partners with Cory, but that's what makes this even more interesting. Theresa is pissed off everyone. Cory, at this point, is cool with the majority of the people Theresa pissed off, because Cory was also a victim of Theresa's moves. But he also was a victim of Big T's moves as well. But he's cool with Big T, so it's weird. It's like, and Big T tonight, didn't she appear to be happy about the fact that Cory being partnered now with Theresa makes him a target? Didn't Big T laugh about it like she was happy about that? This is another subtle sign of Big T being anti-black man, but once again, people act as if it never happened. It's up to me to bring it up every time. But y'all saw that. As soon as Cory, as rogue agent, was forced to have Theresa as his partner after Jay was sent to the Shadow Realm, they give Big T a confessional, actually acting like this is a great thing for everyone's game. It's like, damn. Like, even production at this point is using her to bash black men. And she's doing it voluntarily because she wants them production pet vet TV points, TV time. It's disgusting to me, but are we really surprised? I'm not surprised at this point, you know. But it's just interesting how she could play this game of, I'm pro-black woman, but constantly be anti-black man, and yet no one looks at her as a habitual line stepper as much as I do. It's very interesting because, man, if you were to look at the casual fan base, they're eating this Big T stuff up. Now, the team comp starts, and this was easily the worst team comp of the season, ladies and gentlemen. It essentially was like a net with balls in it. Pause. At least I didn't say bag, right? And but it was really a net. And all of and it was like 4 different heats with men and women. And you had to hang from the net as it's moving, like hanging from a helicopter in the sky. And it's super cold outside. And based off the way they explained it is, you just had to hold on to it and you had to compete to pull other people off to be the last man standing. It was essentially King of the Hill in the sky. Now, the problem with this comp is no one really wanted to compete. Everyone was too scared to stand out. They know Jay and Theresa is the easy target. If you really break down tonight's episode, it was a mirror episode of week 2's episode 2. The same episode I couldn't stand, remember? And we're going to get into another problem I got with this episode in a second. But at the end of the day, Cory didn't have to compete because he was a rogue agent, meaning all the other teams had to. But it was more of an individual comp where you added up the times. Whoever had the best time as a couple combined was essentially the double agent. Now, Theresa tried to crack a deal with the majority of the rookie women, and they were all down with throwing the comp to her because, once again, she's consistently doing their dirty work for her. It's important for me to mention this because Itty Bitty Titty is going to turn on her when it comes to the vote in the meeting. So it's very interesting. They were willing to do her bidding up until a certain point. Then all of a sudden she calls out CT. Now Amber and Gabby, both of them plus their partners, don't want nothing to do with her, right? That just goes to show you that a lot of people are vying for production pet vet. All of them are trying to be pets. So they're trying to go along with where the wind is blowing. So yeah, the comp was completely dumb though. Because the men are up there, they're not competing at all. It literally looked like CT versus Faysal on that truck, but with a whole bunch of grown-ass men hanging from a net full of balls. That's all it was. Stalemate. No one cared. Now, KC, she won her heat, and then Theresa and Amber B went at it. They pretty much stalemated each other, but because Amber B refused to throw the comp, that allowed KC to essentially win the tiebreaker, I'm assuming, because she won her heat outright. I'm assuming that's why she won on her end. And of course, Leroy and Jay kept going at it in their heat, but no winner could be decided in that. But if I had to critique Jay a little bit, you look to be having a little bit too much fun playing with Leroy on that fucking net. That's my thoughts. If you know if Leroy wins this, you're going to go against him, then in my opinion, you should have by hook or crook trying to pull him off that thing. Or how about this, Jay? Sabotage yourself and him to make sure neither one could be double agents. That way it's a little bit harder for you to have to face him. Put it on someone else to make you and your partner the easy target. That would be my advice. Jay made this too easy. Now, granted, production gave KC an easy heat. Granted, Amber B, for whatever reason, chose this episode to all of a sudden make herself known. I can't critique Amber B. Strategically speaking, she made the right decision here. Now, some would argue, well, Amber, you're a rookie. All those other rookie girls are rookies. Why not just work with Itty Bitty Titty Committee and Theresa and get some things done? Because Amber B's partner is Darrell. And because it was rumored Darrell would be targeted. So she couldn't allow Theresa to win or else her partner would be gone. And right now, her game is being helped immensely by Darrell's presence. He's a shield for her. Not only that, she is working with Big Brother from day one. Big Brother's working with Team Black. All of these people are pissed off for how they tried to blindside Cam. Because of all of these things, it created the perfect concoction to why Amber B could never do the same thing as Theresa. So I commend her for standing up to her. I do. In my opinion, if Theresa would have won this week probably would have been a much worse episode because it would have been more predictable. And at the end of the day, I really don't know who she would have targeted this time around. Cam already has her gold skull. I don't think she wants to smoke with Cam necessarily. I'm assuming this week she would have went for Nani maybe. Let's just be real though. If it was a men's elimination, she couldn't have went for Nani, so she would have went for Josh. So it would have been Jay versus Josh, maybe? I don't know. I think Jay might volunteer and take that 1v1 himself to avoid the smoke from Leroy. And I think Leroy would have snatched his gold skull from him in a future week anyway. So at the end of the day, nothing would have really changed. Even if Amber B would have helped Theresa, I think in the end, Jay was going to be sent to the Shadow Realm inevitably. But with that said, though, I did think it was interesting seeing all of these players essentially repeat the same thing they did week 2 for Faysal. They basically did the same exact thing for Leroy. I mean, even Faysal didn't try to win Double Agent this week. He just stood there. None of y'all gonna take me off this net, though. How about you take them off that fucking net, King Kong? You feel it, dig me? Oh, yo, you don't want to do that, but you telling them they can't do it to you either. Okay, it's one of them. It's one of them things, them talk no jitsu moments where, hold me back, hold me back. The Jalen Rose. You feel it, dig me? But yeah, so at the end of the day, the team comp was completely dreadful. That was the one part of the episode, in my opinion, everyone wouldn't have had a problem with fast forwarding. Everything essentially came down to accumulated times of Leroy and KC versus Jay and Theresa, and Leroy and KC won because Amber B refused to let Theresa win 2 weeks in a row. So Amber B helped Big Brother stay safe this week with this move. Now with Leroy and KC as double agents, Jay and Theresa are cooked, ladies and gentlemen. 100% I think they're cooked. But then the whole house, by the way, shout outs to the super chat from CN. You're on point with everything you said tonight. Thank you, CN. I appreciate it, coach. But then the whole house turns on them strategically by not talking to them at the club. And I'm talking about Jay and Theresa at the club. Everyone gave them the cold shoulder treatment at this club, didn't they? Ooh. Listen, you know what this reminded me of? Have any of y'all seen Better Call Saul? If any of y'all seen Better Call Saul, y'all gonna remember this moment. Remember when Saul Goodman, remember when he had to convince the old lady to essentially take her retirement money out of this fund. And he essentially used all of her friends at the senior citizen center. He basically used reverse psychology on them, making them believe she was going to pocket all the money for herself. She wasn't going to split it amongst her friends. Then he started giving her all these gifts, right? So the gifts were designed to make the woman look like she was spending the money she was going to take out on herself on gifts for herself and not her friends. So as her friends start seeing her with all this new stuff, they start believing the stuff Saul Goodman is telling them is true. So these ladies would go mall walking. Essentially, this is what older people do when they don't want to deal with the elements outside. They like to walk around the mall, the inside of a mall. That's how they get their exercise. Well, this woman, they chose to give her the cold shoulder for the majority of that episode, the rest of it, because they believed that this chick was ungrateful and she wasn't sharing her riches with them. That's what they believed because of what Saul Goodman did. That's what reminded me of that club scene, ladies and gentlemen, 100%. Because you see all of these people at the club, they're terrified to hang out with you because they don't want to be seen as someone who condones what you tried to do to Cam. But here's the thing. It wasn't just Theresa who was involved in that. It was 9 people. Well, maybe it wasn't 9. I think it was 9. It was 9 people who voted with, who backed up Theresa by making sure Ashley was in there to face Cam. All of those people were in on that plan. So, but somehow, when she swings but misses, all of a sudden, she gets all of the blame for that one move. Big T didn't get all the blame for the move she did a week prior to that. Keep that in mind. She didn't get all the blame. In fact, she got to blend back in because she's a production pet vet in training. But understand, because Theresa does a move, she's not allowed the same luxury because her partner isn't CT. And it's so interesting to me how production allows one person to do this and get away with it. Then if someone else does a move which is paralleled with that move, they get blamed as the central antagonist of every problem in existence. When in reality, if you really do the math, Big T is to blame for why Theresa did what she did. But once again, Big T gets to laugh at Cory now being with Theresa, when in reality, Big T's gameplay led to Theresa being Cory's partner. So on one hand, I can see why it's funny to her, because that's her, she's responsible for it. But at the same time, this is a woman who only seems to take pride in seeing black men get ruined. She doesn't really laugh. She doesn't laugh. CT can call her an anchor. He could say she ain't shit. He could say she's a terrible physical partner. She forgives him for that. She don't wish the worst for him. In fact, the minute another woman calls him out, a woman that's been loyal to Big T the whole game, calls him out for all the fuck shit he's been doing towards another black person, because it was his idea, Big T decides to defend CT's honor by getting rid of Theresa because she knows Theresa's the scapegoat for Big T's game. So in Big T's mind, hey, I'm willing to do everything I can to further throw Theresa under the bus because production is allowing me to not have to deal with any of the blood from any of the moves I've done already. So Big T is able to exploit this. And Theresa, unfortunately, is playing on an uneven playing field as a result of this as well. That's just my thought process on this, right? But I don't want to, beat a dead horse. I'm just saying that to say it, okay? Then the whole house turns on this, but turns on them by not talking to them at the club. And Darrell tells Theresa that he found out from Amber B that Theresa had plans to target him. As the viewer, we know this was CT's idea initially. So CT must have snitched on Theresa as soon as Leroy became the double agent to save face. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I think was done. I think CT knew that there was a chance that Theresa could have ran up to Leroy to snitch on him before he snitched on her. I think he sold her out before she could sell him out, and that's why no one was willing to hear her out at the meeting. I think CT 100% sold her out already. Because other than that, it makes no sense that no one would be willing to hear her out. Now, granted, I get it. Leroy, they've pretty much planted the seeds last episode, right? Leroy and Nani both used to beef with this chick Theresa. So they've already justified why Leroy would never trust Theresa's word based off historical context. But with that said, though, he shouldn't really trust CT's word either, because week 1, he kind of tried to do everything in his power to get CT out. So it's just interesting how, for a gold skull, you will let the biggest threat to stopping you winning your final season stick around just to get out Jay? See, when I put it to you in a certain way, it makes it look like Leroy took the easy way out a little bit, even though he had to get his revenge. So, y'all know me, I'm thought-provoking. I want y'all to always look at this from both perspectives here. In reality, Leroy could have done a lot more with this double agent he had than just get out Jay. But from a political standpoint, he had to be the one to do that to set a tone and defend his lady. So I'm not mad at him for the move, but I also feel like he is allowing CT to gain more real estate in the game by acting like CT doesn't exist. I need to see the same attention y'all had on CT. I need to see that week 1. Now, on their channel, they claim Big T is their little mole to ruin CT's game. But what I saw tonight was Big T systematically allow y'all to blame everything on Theresa to make Cam believe Big T still fucks with her the long way. That's what I'm seeing. I hope Cam and Leroy see it the way I'm seeing it, because I'm worried that they are going to have egg on their face if they don't win this season. And if CT wins it, under the impression, Big T, we put all of our eggs in Big T's basket for us to beat CT at the end. I hope that's not what y'all are banking on. I hope not, because Leroy's talking a huge game with Jay, and the last thing I would like to see is for him to do something as heroic as he did defending his lady, but allowing a snake in the grass like CT and Big T, for that matter, to just slither by week to week. That's what I'm worried about. So that's just my thoughts on that. That was my TED Talk. I'm just... But yeah, so Amber and Theresa essentially go at it at the club. This preceded a few other fights, which I've already mentioned. This leads to Devin stealing the show by telling Faysal nobody wants him to win another comp the rest of the season. So this implies to me everyone threw the comp because they didn't want Faysal to win. But I think this is Devin trying to put some media spin on shit to cover it up in the edit that they all wanted Leroy to get revenge. I think this is Devin just trying to put some spin on it. And he's also utilizing Josh's gameplay of stealing the opportunity for TV time. When a fight happens, he knows all the cameramen are on alert. So that's the moment to do some other shit to keep that momentum moving. And that's what he did. And then that's my opinion, another reason why Josh was so mad. So when Josh is pulling Faysal to the side and said, man, he's a pussy, man. He doesn't really want no smoke. I'm thinking, like, is this the pot calling the kettle black? What the fuck is this? This is like a situation where, like, it's like you know what Devin is on because you are that same person, but you don't have the heart to admit you that same person. So instead, you just gonna be extra analytical about this dude, and you gonna act like you don't know how you know all of this about Devin. And see, this all goes back to the whole, did Devin and Josh have some type of romance, like, before this season? Something ain't right between them two, yo. Something ain't right. They know some things about each other that nobody else knows. And I ain't even know they knew of each other's presence this much, man. But I know one thing, Devin kept saying Big Brother sucks. Could he be implying that Josh sucks? That's all I'm saying. Let's leave it alone at that. Let's get it cracking. But yes, I think it is super great that Devin was talking trash because he already came on Instagram in the present day after the season by saying he wasn't scared of Faysal. At least he's keeping that same energy in the edit. I respect him doing that. But to see Josh try to play peacekeeper is hilarious to me. He tried to fight Devin and he got mad at Faysal for working with Devin, so it makes no sense why he feels the way he does. But hearing Josh break down Devin's game by calling him a pussy is comical because he does the same thing. Then seconds later, Josh throws water at Kyle and Devin to defend Faysal, who already betrayed him for a white woman. And it's funny because that's usually Josh's thing. I'm gonna betray people of color for white women. So it's almost as if he's living vicariously through all the people around him. It's really weird. This leads to Kyle fighting with Josh and wanting the smoke. Then Josh pushes Devin onto a futon, and this leads to Devin saying Josh has some issues he needs to get sorted out. I think this is Devin slowly but surely saying Josh's sexuality is in question. I think Josh isn't even mad about Faysal and Devin. I think he's mad that the layup he planned to take out was taken from him by Leroy, and he can't do anything about it within the game. He knows this will be another final he doesn't make because Leroy wants Jay. To make sure there is no bad blood between her and Theresa, Amber apologizes and admits she doesn't know where the story came from about Darrell. This is what leads Theresa down the warpath of understanding CT ain't shit, and this what starts the situation at the meeting, essentially. But at the end of the day, now that we know the itty bitty titty committee are just a whole bunch of floaters at this point. They're just floaters in the game, okay? Wherever the wind blows, that's where they'll flip. And it's not a terrible move for them. But when you are players who are viewed as layups, you need to be putting in as many strong people versus strong people as you possibly can. Now, this week specifically wasn't a girls' week, so I'm not that mad at them. But look, y'all got Cory to face Anissa. Then you got Cam to face Ashley, okay? With Theresa now being with Cory, listen, who do you think they're going to pick Theresa to face? Rookies? Cam already got her. She don't need that revenge herself. She don't need to take that risk. Anissa already got hers as well. So those are the only two women with gold skulls. In my opinion, Nany versus Theresa would be interesting, but the rookie women should be very scared of the idea of Theresa having to face one of them because they didn't decide to stay loyal to her in her worst moment. You know, what if Theresa dog walks one of Gabby or Amber, right? You know, at the end of the day, I mean, who can they blame? They flipped on her at the drop of a dime, you know? But to be fair to them, they wasn't going to turn on no Big T, especially when they shitted on a black man to get her to work with this white man who treats her like shit present day. I mean, damn, they can't walk that move back too. Then they're just going to look totally ungrateful. So they pretty much have to stay pat. But isn't it interesting? A white partner can treat Big T like utter garbage. And she never runs to her friends and says, I need you all to conspire with me to get rid of him. But a black man literally comes up with an idea on his own, and she says, he doesn't give me enough attention. He can go. So someone being indifferent towards you and ignoring you is somehow worse than someone treating you like dog shit? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem I got with the energy Big T gives on TV. I'm just saying. You know, I'm not seeing nowhere near the same bashing Joseph got when CT is going off. Did you see the preview of the next episode? CT is shouting about some shit that happened in some team comp, and Big T's looking like she done fucked it up again. What is this, a sitcom? Huh? It's the Andy Dick show. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Like for real, is this the Green Hornet? Big T is Kato? Huh? Like, what are we doing? This doesn't make any damn sense. But anyway. Oh, man. This shit is wild, man. It's really wild. Leroy and KC discussed the backup plan just in case the elimination is a puzzle, and Leroy implied he would send in Nam. So Leroy even knows Nam has been working with the other side and can't be trusted. Leroy deserves some credit here because he's the first player on his side that saw through Nam's gameplay. Lolo even warned Nam at the last second, but shouldn't she want a different partner like Cam said in her YouTube video? Lolo is way too sprung. She's way too sprung. When she found out Nam had some black in him, she ain't been on her square ever since. Can we keep it funky? She ain't been on her square. But then TJ reveals the twist, okay? This is what I'm gonna go off on, and then we can get into answering questions, coach. Hold on, let me take a sip. Fucking TJ. Then TJ reveals all the men who didn't try hard enough in the team comp with the ball sack, right? He says they don't get a vote this week. So you mean to tell me after Leroy and KC have already seen where the votes lie, and when the shit don't make no difference because you already piled on Theresa enough, all right, let's keep that in mind as well. They made sure to do it this week that if you didn't try in the team comp, your vote has no impact. Well, if it didn't change the outcome of the vote, TJ, isn't this a placebo effect? What did you really do to them? Oh, you're incentivizing they try harder next time? Listen, if Jay and Theresa would have avoided elimination because of this rule on the fly, then maybe they would have been scared straight. But by it being Jay and Theresa anyway, by Leroy still getting the chance to take out Jay and getting his revenge no matter what, you didn't make anyone pay for what they did in piling on Jay and Theresa and throwing it to Leroy. You still allowed Leroy to reap the benefits from what they did. Nothing changed. So what was the point of this? And y'all know what I'm gonna say now. Joseph sure could have used this twist during week 2 when everyone threw that one comp to Faysal and Anissa. Uh-oh, y'all know where I'm going with this, right? This makes TJ in production look super racist to do this now, but they wouldn't do it back then. Can we keep it real? You mean to tell me everyone besides Kyle, Devin, and CT throw a comp to Faysal and Anissa? You let that ride, TJ. But this week, when Theresa attempts to flip everything back on CT during a men's elimination week, you decide to take away the votes of the men who didn't try, but it's the one week where it don't make a difference in the vote. And keep in mind, week 2 is the same week that led to Big T's incredible edit starting. Everything is built off of the week where Joseph got screwed. And remember, Joseph has already exposed that competition versus Kyle was rigged as well. So understand, the fact that they didn't do it then but did it now is proof that they wanted Leroy to get his revenge because they're building this season around Leroy, but they don't really want him to win. You don't think Leroy would have benefited from Joseph staying in the game over Kyle? CT benefited from that. So 2 straight weeks where 2 comps that dictated the rest of the episode was rigged for someone because everyone threw it to him. CT somehow remains unscathed both times, even though the first time it was 1 episode removed from everyone targeting CT after Ashley got sent home. But he was rogue agent. He got to avoid the smoke that time. That's key. Then this time around, when clearly Big T and him should be blamed for all of the things that happened that led to Cam eventually being a target, he gets to dodge all criticism and skepticism so Theresa can be sent to the Shadow Realm with Jay. Ladies and gentlemen, I've exposed production's agenda here. It's bullshit. Now I'm ready to answer y'all questions, because I think I just teed y'all off. I'm ready, coach. You feel it, dig me? I'm ready. Let's get it cracking. Hold on, let me get rid of this. I got this app up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, let me get that out the way. But yeah, I'm ready to answer y'all questions now, coach. You know what I'm saying? Those were my thoughts, man. I can't believe this, yo. Production think they slick. So now all of a sudden, them throwing shit to people matters. Johnny Bananas won last season because it was all thrown to him. But you got TJ talking about, hey man, if y'all throw anything, y'all votes don't count no more. Even if I hate it when people throw shit, it's still a form of gameplay. How are you going to force people to try harder? How can you dictate if someone's giving all effort? How can you determine these things? They're not quantifiable. Bro, Whitney, that TJ shit made no sense to me. It really didn't. And then when I see Jay and Teresa's face still on the screen, I'm like, you couldn't edit that shit out the episode, TJ? What the fuck's going on? I guess in his mind is, I know motherfuckers gonna hate this episode, so let's tell fans we didn't like it either. Like, what? Understand, this is the same company that created that created a duo twist on the fly to keep Jordan and Tori safe 2 seasons ago. And it was a swimming comp. Pick your own partner type shit. Like, this is the company that does shit like that. Now all of a sudden they're gonna act like they hate it when you throw comps to people? Are you kidding me? When the majority of the time they're offering people production pet vet membership for them to throw shit to people? TJ, who the fuck are you trying to fool? Is this a joke? Am I a joke to you? Seriously. Theo asked the question, was the challenge or Big Brother ever not rigged? I mean, hey, there you go, man. It's always been rigged, but damn, there's levels to the riggery, man. You know, at least suspend my disbelief a little bit. Like, nah, they just up front with the rigging. It's like, damn, can I have some imagination? You know what I mean? Like, damn, this must be what women talk about when they say, damn, can we get some foreplay, some nice music? You know? Like, for real, they trying to get straight to third base, coach. Damn. It's super lit. Jeez. I hope Nam is black where it counts. Miss Mary, you funny, yo. Who's the best pairing you think? Question from Alex Fritz. By the way, hold on, I gotta make some people some mighty mods. Hold on, I'm on my way to the Bat Cave. You know what I'm saying? I gotta hit up Lucius Fox. I gotta get y'all some Infinity Stones. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, I'm on my way to the Bat Cave. I ain't gonna forget your question either, cause I'm coming back. Hold on. Okay, he said, who's the best parent? Hold on, let me hook you up first, Alex. All right, you now have your Infinity Stone. I know there's someone else here that don't got the Infinities. Oh, CN don't got his. Gave a super chat and don't got his Infinity Stone. Damn. If I could give you 2, I would. Oh, Jay, I see you, coach, man. Let me give you your Infinity Stone, too. You feel it to be Jalen. What's poppin', coach? Let me give you your Infinity Stone. Hold on, is there anyone else? Hold up, is there anyone else? Let me keep scrolling. Oh, Honisis, yes sir. Let me give you your Infinity Stone, miss. Okay, now we're good. All right. Jalen asked the question, is BB22 a good season? That's all the way at the top. It's all right, but I feel like if you're not watching it live, it's probably terrible. All right, but now let's get back to Alex's first question. Who's the best pairing? Hold on. Who's the best pairing you think? In my opinion, Alex, I got to go back to the power rankings, coach. The best pairing is clearly Cam and Kyle, the Killers. At the end of the day, the Killer K's, they're the best team. Let me give you all my power rankings now, actually, now that you've asked that question. This is the current top 5 power ranking based off after this episode ended. Number 5, Devin and Gabby. Number 4, Darrell and Amber B. Based off of Darrell's gameplay today, scaring some folks, Amber's unwillingness to be a sheep, they get their way into the top 5, ladies and gentlemen. CT and Big T take 3rd place, Leroy and Casey take 4th place, and Kyle and Cam take 1st. So that's my way of answering your question while providing a little bit more information. And for the people who want to know what the bottom 5 look like, 6th place is Faysal and Anissa. 7th is Cory and Theresa. Most of that is due to Theresa really being the anchor holding Cory's strategy back. Josh and Nani are 8th. 9th is Nam and Lolo. I think they're just dead on arrival at this point. And Michi and Amber M are last. I just don't think from a team perspective, yeah, they might have chemistry together, but I think as a team in this type of a game, I think in Are You the One, they're lit. I think in X on the Beach, they're lit. But I think on a season like this, they're pretty much cooked, coach. And I don't really have a problem with either one of them. And of course, we now have Leroy with a golden skull, along with Cam, Anissa, Faysal, Devin, and Kyle, ladies and gentlemen. So we now have 6 people with skulls out of a possible 12 people that will have skulls. So we're pretty much halfway through the season, technically speaking. So that's what's up. But yeah, let's answer some more questions. Shout outs to Sheffield United for taking out Man U. Yes, sir, Theo. Got them out the paint. Everyone forgot about CT all of a sudden. That's what I'm telling you, CN. This is production's doing. You do not forget about a big personality like, I don't know, the motherfucker who just won 2 seasons ago. You know what I'm saying? How do you forget about a motherfucker who just won 2 seasons ago? And he's really the only person on this season that won 2 seasons ago. Rogan's gone, D's gone, and Jordan's gone. He's the only one from 2 seasons ago. The only past winner for the past 2 seasons that's on this season is right in front of your face, and all of y'all's acting like they don't exist. It's crazy to me, y'all. It's insane. It makes no sense. And if Leroy and Cam are trying to convince us that Big T is this mole of theirs to keep CT from getting his gold skull, that implies everything Big T does terribly in these team comps, is on purpose because she's following Cam and Leroy's orders. That's what they're implying to us. They're implying Big T is actually capable of doing wonderful things. She's really Wonder Woman. You just don't know it. But right now, she's taking our orders, and right now she's looking like a damn pawn on a chessboard. That's what they're trying to convince us of. I don't believe that, man. I think she's just not that physically gifted, unfortunately. Right? No disrespect. I just think that is what it is. Now, if Big T comes out with a confessional at some point admitting she's doing this on purpose to CT, then I'll buy what Cam and them is saying. But if Big T is just going to kiss this white man's ass 24/7, no matter how bad he treats her, but then Joseph has one conversation with her, and that was enough to send him to the Shadow Realm, listen, I got a problem. And I should have a problem. Because I'm not seeing her be consistent with that white man like she was with that black man. She got a short fuse with that black man. When it comes to this white man, she got all the patience in the world. Now you mean to tell me she's so woke, she's so ahead of the game, she's taking orders from a black man and a black woman to fool a white man after betraying a black man to do it? Y'all are asking me to believe in unicorns, my nigga. Like, I'm just saying, man. Can we keep it funky? Cam, I fucks with Cam and Leroy, but they are asking me to suspend my disbelief too much. They asking me to believe in magic and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, dun 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 dun. They on that shit. They want me to believe in all these chambers of secrets and shit. You feel it, dig me? But the only snake I see is Big T. Exposed. You feel it, dig me? I'm just saying, man, I'm not buying what they selling to me right now, man. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, yo. They are trying to get us to believe that Big T is the double agent of all double agents. That she was willing to cut a black man just to lure a white man into a false sense of bedwench security. To believe that she would go to the end of the world with him. She even tried to get him to kiss her on the cheek. You mean to tell me she's doing all of this stuff She's implying all of this stuff just to help Cam and Leroy win this season. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not buying that, man. I'm not buying it. If that was the case, Ashley, she wouldn't speak so highly of Ashley to this day. Let's just keep it real. If that was true, it wouldn't have been Ashley versus Cam at all. Because Big T would have told Theresa, you're protecting Ashley. We're gonna give Cam an easy gold skull. We're gonna send in someone else like Nani or some shit. And it's gonna get cracking. And you know Cam would have been okay with facing Nani because Nani was hating on her relationship initially with Leroy. So I'm saying all this to say, but that probably would have hurt the relationship with Big Brother long term because KC would have took exception to Nani being taken out by Leroy's girlfriend. Okay, maybe Cam would have been smart enough not to take that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what Big T wants, not what Cam wants, okay? It comes down to, look, I'm not blindsiding you, Cam. I'm working with you to get you your gold skull versus someone we know you can beat easier than Ashley. In my opinion, that's fair. But there are people actually trying to convince us that even though Big T was in on a blindside of Cam, that somehow Big T is Cam's mole to keep CT from winning this season. Dog, let's stop it. Big T, one of the first confessionals she said as CT's partner is, I'm happy I finally have someone who can help me win the game. She wants to win the game with him. She's not on his team to help Cam and Leroy do shit. And I'm hoping black folks wake up. I hope they wake up. All right? That's just my thought process. Miss Mary's asked the question, Dave, do you think that Cam and Leroy will ever get to be partners? I think there's a chance that they could get to be partners later. But of course, at this point, it only happens if someone challenges their skull, right? Well, no. Technically speaking, that doesn't happen. KC could get eliminated, and then that technically forces Leroy to be a rogue agent, in which he's in a position to possibly get Cam in a perfect world. Conversely, someone would have to come for Kyle's gold skull or Cam's gold skull for her to actually pick Leroy. So in this situation, it really has to do with KC, right? Because in theory, whatever happens with KC, that will determine, in my opinion, that's the most likely scenario that will determine whether Leroy and Cam will be partners in the future, based off KC. You know? So that's really my thoughts on that. We'll have to look closely at the next elimination, KC's elimination that she happens to be in, depending on who she faces. We'll probably have our answer before the elimination's even over, to be honest. I heard this rumor that Faysal and Gabby actually hooked up. I think they probably did actually hook up after Cory was gone. After Gabby was promised that if she gave them community sugar walls out, that she would become a production pet in due time. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. I think he definitely got the box at a certain point. Okay? Without a doubt. Miss Malika Newton asked the question, do you think production was looking out for Leroy by giving him this comp? He won this comp on a past elimination. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, absolutely they were. You got to understand, production right now is trying to position themselves as pro-black. They're building this entire season. They have marketed this entire season around Cam and Leroy to the point where even, in my opinion, the majority of people who always have spoiler accounts, even they have done their best to try to make it seem like Cam and Leroy are going to be reckoning this season. So, in my opinion, production, they allowed these leaks to go out earlier to try to get that black momentum because they knew Swaley wasn't coming back. They knew Swaley gave them a huge visibility spike. They knew the only way for them to retain that black audience longer was for them to possibly leak information about Cam and Leroy doing well. And that's why I think, yes, they may have rigged this competition for Leroy to be successful in, especially since they don't fuck with Jay because he eliminated CT a season ago. Jay is the reason why CT didn't have a chance to win 2 in a row. So it is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, I can see my connection is starting to tweak. So I'm going to end it here, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want no more technical difficulties. I'm Dave Smith with Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. And this, of course, has been the 17th rant of the Challenge 36, entitled Swinged and You Missed, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this rant. I will be back in front of you very soon. But hopefully, this past week of rants are able to hold you, coach. I know I've been going crazy, okay? Let's get love when we go OT. You feeling? So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all stay warm. I hope you all continue to stay safe. And I hope you all continue to enjoy all of the content provided to you by Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. Until next time.